What's good, grinders? Welcome to MLS, Motivation, Logic, and Shenanigans, where we have a lot of motivational videos. We give logical perspectives, and because I am who I am, let's face it, there are going to be a lot of shenanigans. However, today, I'll try my best not to have too many shenanigans, all right? Because I want people to take me serious. Yeah, enough of that. That being said, we will be discussing the internal concept of Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State University. The internal concept is where I give a logical and business perspective. That being said, let's kick this pig! Deion Primetime Sanders is one of the most legendary icons that have ever graced the football field. He changed the game using his swag, his attitude, and honestly, the way he played the game.
Anyone who walks on a let me be very clear, because sometimes people just forget who Prime is. He's one of the most famous football players of all time. He's one of the most famous athletes of all time.
He is.
Let's go back in time, shall we? Just to remind everyone who he is. If you walk on a field today in the NFL and have any swag, if you got a chain on, if you're talking, that is where you got it from.
Deion spent 3 years coaching at Jackson State University. This college is known as an HBCU, which means Historical Black College or University. Deion Sanders turned their football program into a juggernaut, and honestly, he made them relevant. Now, when I'm talking about relevance, I'm not talking about that the school was trash and we should be talking about, don't come at me in the comments, all right? I'm talking about relevance as in fame. He made them a little bit more famous than they were. Boom. That being said, Coach Prime recently accepted an offer to Colorado University. And here's where things get weird. There are a lot of mixed emotions from the community. So we're gonna break this bad boy down with a business and logical perspective. We will start off by dissecting a segment from the show Speak, which features Emmanuel Acho, LaShawn McCoy, Joy Taylor, and in this episode, David Hellman. I love the show. I love everything that they bring to the show. I love their vibe. I love their content. I love their perspectives. And my man Acho usually does an amazing job with his perspectives. But in this segment, I feel like he was coming off a little negative. If you don't believe me, listen to the first 20 seconds.
Come on in. It's time to get real. Deion Sanders, 12-0 at Jackson State. His son, Shador, is the quarterback. They were balling. Problem. Deion has now chosen to leave Jackson State and go to Colorado. It's really shaking up the sports world. We'll dive into all the nuances of it. But firstly, Dave Hellman, you chime in very quickly. What is your issue, or do you have an issue with Deion Sanders leaving for Colorado?
This is right out the gate, and he starts off with a leading question. What is a leading question? A leading question is where someone gives statements for you. They give enough statements for you to lead you to the answer that they want you to give, all right? Now, he could have gave a better question, like, how do you feel about him going to another college? That's an open-ended question, which means I genuinely want to know your thoughts, your feelings about the matter. However, he didn't ask an open-ended question. He asked a leading question about the issues of Deion Sanders leaving, as if there were any issues. Now, we can't necessarily blame Acho because we don't know who wrote the question. It could have been a director, it could have been a producer, so we can't necessarily blame Acho, Acho, if we're being honest, usually gives fair perspectives, but in this segment, in this particular segment, let's just say I'm not a fan. Credit to David for saying he didn't see any issues and falling into the trap of that leading questions. David gave a great answer and actually gave kudos to Coach Prime. Before we get into Acho's second question, I have to say, I really love Acho. I really love Acho. Like, I think he's a brilliant man. He's freaking amazing. Many kudos. Love and respect to Acho. All right? But y'all should know where I'm about to go with this. So let's rewind it. I really love Acho. I think he's a brilliant man. Here it comes. But he is the one that's asking these questions. All right? So he is the one that has to get this fired. This was his second question.
There are a lot of nuances that more so appeal to upbringings. Joy, Shady, myself may have experienced, family members may have experienced. Some people saying Deion Sanders is a sellout for abandoning, leaving Jackson State and going to Colorado. Joy, I want to come to you next. What are your thoughts on Deion leaving? What are your thoughts on people calling him a sellout? What's your overall opinion on the situation?
Okay, I'm going to try to teach you something real quick, like put you on game. I'm going to teach you something. Listen to the way he set up the series of questions. This is an interrogation tactic where he lays out the statements to highlight the main question he wants Joy to answer. And then he asks 3 different questions to control the answers. Detectives on the First 48 do this all the time. I must give Joy kudos for this segment. Joy was on fire the whole time. She was getting it in the whole time. Joy did an amazing job answering the questions with a beautiful business perspective on the situation.
I'm very confused overall at what the outrage is about. Now, I understand I didn't go to an HBCU, so I understand the pride of going to an HBCU and what that emotes. And I certainly understand anybody who goes to Jackson State or is a Jackson State alum who's upset. Similar to when Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma. I don't think it's reasonable to be mad at Lincoln Riley, but I get Oklahoma fans not liking Lincoln Riley and so on and so forth. We see this with jobs, with college jobs and professional jobs all the time because you're a fan and you care. That's understandable. If you aren't a Jackson State alum, however, I'm really confused because Deion went there, elevated the program, brought attention to the program, brought in students, got college game days there.
Yep.
Dedicated himself to building this program and had actual quantifiable success.
She basically just said, Deion Sanders fulfilled his job. He went above and beyond to make that program elite. Because of that quantified success, he was offered a better job. So my question is, why is he a sellout? This is where I'm gonna get a little bit serious, just a little bit, because the matter at hand, I'm actually passionate about this matter. All right, so I'm gonna try my best to try to be as serious as I possibly can because of passion. All right, the black community is a community that often brings each other down. However, we have to stop hating on each other. We gotta stop hating on other black people because they're trying to level up. Why are they considered sellouts? Why is Deion Sanders in this situation considered a sellout? The people that is saying this is basically saying you want him to stay on the same level that he was at. And honestly, that is a horrible mentality for a community. Think about it like this. Deion went from coaching at high school. Then he leveled up and he went to Jackson State. And he was able to turn Jackson State into an elite program. He then got promoted to a better program. And now he can bring people up that he couldn't reach at Jackson State. It's all about growth. So why is he considered a sellout for leveling up? LaShawn McCoy chimes in on the matter and actually agrees with my point.
And I'll say this, because I won't get deep on it, because it hurt me because to see a lot of my black people talking about Prom. It's like, Prom is here. He's for everybody. Like, he want everybody to do well. And the thing is, okay, you look at, I'm going to say, the schools like I went to Pittsburgh. You got Penn States and all that, et cetera. They promote these schools so you want to go there. Oh, I want to be the next Larry Fitzgerald. I want to be the next Dan Marino, whatever it is. Adrian Peterson, you go to Oklahoma. So my thing is now, Prime has did that same thing. Of you now, you go to the NFL at HBCU and become something. Them same recruiters and NFL scouts that was going to the games. Maybe Prime brought it out there. Those kids are still there. So we're going to go get them kids. We'll still recruit them. Just because Prime is not there, still have some scouts. So I love what Coach Prime is doing. It's a promotion, and he should do well at that job.
Please listen to what he just said. Because Deion Sanders was at Jackson State, now scouts and recruiters are going to these schools. These are schools that would not have ever got the attention if Coach Prime was not at that HBCU. In other words, these black schools are now getting the attention that they deserve because of Coach Prime. Acho asks his third question. And once again, the setup is so dramatic. Acho is it's not his day. It's just definitely not his day. Poor Acho. It was so dramatic, but it wasn't as dramatic as Skip Bayless is when he talks about Baker Mayfield, because that is a whole nother level of drama and being dramatic. Yeah, he wasn't that dramatic, but he was pretty damn dramatic. Nevertheless, Joy sees through the drama and comes back and answers with complete facts.
What about the fact that Deion Sanders might be doing the program more harm in the long term by now hemorrhaging the program's recruits, taking coaches with them, taking the quarterback with them, etc.?
That's college football. That's sports.
What she just said was completely from a business perspective. Like I told y'all from the beginning, Joy was on fire. She was seeing through all Acho's stuff, right? Think about it this way. Say you're a manager of a company and one of your best employees leave. What happens? You have to fulfill that spot. Business goes on. Yes, it will suck for a little while, but at the same time, business must go on. Even if that employee takes other employees with them, the business still must go on.
Then the question is, did Deion Sanders end up hurting Jackson State more than he helped? Because when you look at the University of Oklahoma, if there is going to be some sort of parallel, remember, Deion's taking the quarterback and other recruits have decommitted. If he sets Jackson State back, does that end up doing more long-term damage?
This is how the business works. This is the business. This is not a volunteer service. This is a business. Hello? This is how it works. You just described what happened with Oklahoma and USC. That is not an isolated situation.
You know, Acho was trying to go in, and then Joy came right back in. That's just how it works. All right? It's all business. At the end of the day, it's all business. Joy chimes in and says this.
We can't always be complaining about black coaches not getting opportunities, and then when black coaches get opportunities, we're still complaining.
Honestly, this quote was really what made me make this video because of that perspective. What she said was absolutely correct. The black community is a proud community, but we have our flaws. One of those flaws is when someone is trying to level up, there's others trying to bring them down. In society, it's already hard to level up. We all know that. We can agree with that. It's even harder to level up when you're black, right? So if you know and you understand this concept, why is there hate and why is there name calling for those that's trying to level up? It just doesn't make any logical sense. To wrap this video up, Joy had another brilliant point, and she was killing it all day. She was destroying Acho. And my man Acho finally came over to the positive side with his final thought.
Here, I think, is the most troubling and concerning issue with Deion Sanders' criticism. It is this. If you criticize a person that has poured back into you, a community, into you as a program, into you as a school, then you are not incentivizing that person to want to continue to give back after they now have acquired more resources, after they have acquired more wealth, after they have acquired more support. Understand, Deion Sanders did a whole lot more for Jackson State than anybody on Twitter likely ever has. So to now call him a sellout retroactively is going to disincentivize him from wanting to continue to support the very community that is now chastising him. It actually makes no sense. Let's play the long game. Let's open up the door instead of looking through the keyhole.
Go check out the full video. The link will be in the description. I just gave an internal concept on Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State University. If you have a topic or want a business and logical perspective on something, let me know in the comments. Also, What are your thoughts? What are your perspectives on the matter? Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you disagree, what can we do better? As always, I hope you grind and I hope you prosper. Cheers! And zoom in just a little bit. Just a touch of love, a little bit. Pump it up. Pump it up. I can't see. I'm just staring into the light. All right, Jackson State University. I just paused. That being said, go back and check out the video. Go check out the video. Every time, intro for you, you beautiful specimen of God. After the intro, this beautiful specimen of God. Boom!